Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're at in the globe. This is Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. Today we're going to be reviewing the non-farm payrolls from Friday, November 6, 2015. Numbers came in quite strong for the U.S. jobs, and accordingly the currency markets reflected some of that data and rather aggressively. So just looking at the euro first, we're on a 5-minute chart. Heading into the Europe session and early US, the market had already established a range. We're on the Euro USD, so we had a fairly tight range of about 20 pips. But as we head into the US early part of the US session here, we notice that buyers slowly started to dry up. Possibly a combination of a few things, maybe orders being pulled out of the market. Whatever that may be, we saw a bit of a short breakout prior to the announcement, and then of course even a weaker rally, and then some selling 5 minutes prior to the news release, and then a capitulation of over 100 pips where the market just sold off quite heavily down into the 715 area over the next 40 minutes or so. Big opportunity for short sellers on the euro, and a big day for the markets. Looking at the pound, we'll just blow this up a little bit, and same sort of thing. Asia saw a bit of selling late into the session. As soon as the Europe market opened up, we saw a little bit of a range established here with 3 thrusts, and then some selling continue. The market continued to sell off into the opening of the US session. Now this is again just another critical, looking at some really basic concepts of support and resistance. We saw some support occur towards the end of the middle part of the Europe session. The market rallied, it sold off again quite strongly. Now when we see this type of situation, we want to be looking for footprints that there might be some institutional movement prior to a large event, and we see some fairly significant patterns of selling here. The market did rally coming into the US session. We saw 3 drives up. There's that 3 thrust pattern, and then into the news 5 minutes beforehand again, we saw some selling take place, so there obviously was some anticipation that there was going to be some positive numbers for the U.S. A little bit of a gap with the aggressive, obviously orders been removed. We've seen some fairly aggressive fills, probably to lack of liquidity from orders being pulled out of the market, and then the pound selling off another 50 to 70 pips over the next 30 minutes or so. So again, heavy short selling, but again, just looking at some really simple evidence of footprints in the market prior to this payrolls release. We saw the evidence of selling all the way through that Europe session, then some fairly aggressive moves, and then loading back up to where we saw that support and resistance occur, fairly aggressive selling, and then a follow-through capitulation. Big day on the pound, and a fairly good day for trend traders on just following on with that short selling that occurred throughout the day. Looking at the euro yen, we'll blow this one up again. Similar to the euro, we saw a range establish sort of early into the Europe session from Asia. Sellers and buyers sort of tightening up, positioning themselves. Anybody a little bit leery of making too big of a commitment prior to payrolls release. We saw the market rally later into the session as the US markets were starting to get closer to opening up, but again, some selling occurred, weaker rally of buying, evidence of more selling, weak rally with more selling. As the markets opened up, we saw more aggressive selling occur, an even weaker pullback, and then 5 minutes again before payrolls, the euro yen aggressively started to sell. Now, people who might have waiting for that news release, or even it didn't get in up here, there was still a fairly significant amount of movement. Well over 50 pips of movement down, and this is a 5-minute chart. Some people may have been trading that on an even shorter time frame. Today we're using the 5-minute charts again, just to show, even on a smaller time frame, that support and resistance plays a big role, especially when there's order flow coming into the markets. So the first few hours of each session is when we'll see that order flow occur, but definitely evidence of institutional selling prior to the non-farm payrolls. So again, short sellers, big day, fairly low risk opportunity for people who were willing to take that trade. You can't just stand aside all the time with news, or you'll be sitting flat all the time, because news is constantly flowing into the market. So it's important to just keep going over these basic, simple support and resistance and trendline breaks, so that when you have an opportunity present to yourself, that you can see where there's a low risk opportunity for buying low or selling high. So just looking at the Aussie dollar now, again, very similar. We saw a tight range established sort of into the Asian session. As Europe opened up, we saw buying occur. Not a huge amount of movement, but again, range opening up. But over the course of that Europe session, we saw the Aussie dollar start to slowly work its way down slightly and show some weakness. And definitely before the announcement, where we were seeing that support occur, that support was broken. We see the market again roll over just prior to the announcement and then capitulate down. And a fairly significant move, pretty much close to 100 pips for the Aussie dollar, and again, just capitulating downwards off of that accumulation that occurred over the Europe session. So obviously there was maybe some liquidation of long positions, just slowly working their way out or rolling over into shorts, but definitely short positions. You can see the size of the bars changing as we get closer to the announcement. Heavy selling on the Aussie dollar, 100 pips of movement. So payrolls is probably the largest impactor of all the news events. Again, with any of this, it's important to maintain your risk management. It's important to stay focused and just look at some simple support and resistance and evidence in that first few hours of the market opens for order flow, where obviously just general world currency orders of normal currency exchange is being put into the market, and look for significant opportunities where there's evidence of one side weakening or one side strengthening. I hope this helps today, traders. As always, stay disciplined, stay focused, work hard, and may the markets go with you. Have a great day. Hi traders, it's Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. If you haven't done so, please head over to my website at staceyburketrading.com. I create updates on almost a daily basis, and I would love for you to receive them. Just click on the blog. If you want to enter your name and your email address, I'll send you my free audio program, the 7-Step Daily Routine for High Performance Traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets, and this is for helping traders to master the market with discipline, confidence, and a winning mindset. I appreciate all your feedback and comments. As always, traders, stay disciplined, and may the markets go with you.